Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWind. Today we're talking about Windows 10 mobile build 14.3.42. So this is a pretty interesting build, okay? And there's only a few new features, but there is some cool new features, and we'll get to that in a minute. And if you want to go to that, just skip to where I'm actually touching the phone. So last Tuesday night, they released Windows 10 for PCs build 14.3.42, which is obviously the same build number. 6 days before, which is really odd in a day and age where we're seeing mobile and PC builds on the exact same day at the exact same time, in fact. So what happened was they actually released it by accident, and they were going to release it the next day. So we were kind of actually planning for a mobile build all week, and it just never came. So yesterday it finally did. Now, a couple other things about this build. They said that there was going to be a bug where when you went to update it, it would show as 10.0.0.1001. Instead of showing up as 14.3.42.1001. That didn't happen. I reached out to them to ask about that, and they told me that it was a bug that they had while testing, but they fixed it before it came out, and they edited the blog post to reflect that. Also, in the blog post, they note that they've added 3 more phones to the Insider program: the Lumia Icon, the Blue Win HD LTE 150E, and Blue Win Junior 130E. Now, the Lumia Icon was added like about a week and a half ago, but this is actually the first new build that we've had since then. The Blue Win HD LTE and the Blue Win Junior 130E, I actually thought that they were already supported. I guess that's new. But hey, if you got those phones, you can get on the fast string now. All right, so what's new in this build? So there's a couple things that aren't in the release notes that are new, and I'm going to show you one right here. In the last build, or one of the earlier builds, you notice that they added a camera button to the lock screen, okay, which is actually really great because a lot of phones now don't have physical camera buttons. So what I've been wondering is, what about phones with physical buttons? Because there are a few low-end phones like the 430, the 435, and I think the 532 that have physical buttons but don't have a physical camera button. So that still doesn't work, and I went to check that on this build, and interestingly enough, this activates one-handed mode, right? Doesn't make any sense. And the home or the Windows button here will activate Cortana. So it's basically everything's moved over to the left a little bit. And now if you hit the search button, just nothing happens. So you might have noticed that when I did the Cortana and I backed out of it, it went straight to the start screen. Okay, so I set a pin, and just to be clear, if you do have a pin set and you back out of it, it's going to go back to the lock screen. All right, so it's not a security vulnerability in case you were worried about it. All right, so let's type in our pin here so we can take a look at some features. It's 1235, right? Super slick, because most people use 1234, right? So no one is going to figure this out, all right? Anyway, we can go back and forward by swiping in Edge. This is new. We go to the best website in the universe here, neowind.net. We should be able to swipe back to the home page here, or we can swipe forward. All right, so that's one of 3 new features listed here, but we also have a new store that we're going to get to in a bit. Apps for websites. So this is new, and it seems pretty exciting, but it's not exciting at all right now. You go to System here, go down to Apps for Websites, and as you can see, right now it can't really do anything. So that kind of sucks. So what that'll let you do is you can set it so some websites can be opened by an app or a browser. So for instance, if you click on a link to Twitter, that would be opened in the Twitter app. And you'll be able to do that in settings here. I would like to say that hopefully this will be a little more controlled than just opening any link from anywhere to the app, because there are some that you would rather have open in the browser or the app that you're in, but we'll find out when this feature is actually implemented. Right now, it's just the settings page that they added. All right, so Feedback Hub improvements. We've heard from you that it can sometimes be hard to find which category your feedback belongs in. Now, when you create new feedback, the Feedback Hub will suggest categories and subcategories based on the title and description you entered. If you see a suggestion that looks right, just click to fill in the menus and get your feedback to the right engineers quickly. So before we take a look at that, we're going to look at the store, because I'm going to show you Pizza Eat Pizza, or whatever it's called. But anyway, this is the new store. And I actually installed this. I installed Windows 10 mobile on my Lumia Icon, the RTM build, just so we can put these things side by side. Okay, so you can see it's completely different. We have top apps, top games, featured collections. The hamburger menu is pretty much the same. My library has moved down some spots, but we can look at the different pages. Right, it's a all new design, and the pages themselves, the listings look different as well. But we'll get to that. So pretty much all these look generally the same. So let's go to Star Wars or Angry Birds Star Wars. Right, so we can see that we get the flat color here. All right, over here we get more of a fade going on. Personally, I like the new look better. I know of a lot of people that don't care for the new look, but I think it's a more mature, more refined look. I've never cared for this Windows look that we've always had, where it's just kind of flat, bright colors. It always seemed very trendy, and it seemed like something that they would have to change eventually. I mean, you look at a 10-year-old version of Mac OS X, and it still looks good. You know, in 10 years, I really think we're going to look back on Windows 8 and the bright tiles that we have, and we're going to go, what the hell were we thinking? Right? And that's kind of what trendy means. So let's go to My Library, because there's also some new stuff over here. Right? I'll have to go a little lower on the list for that one, of course. And you can see that we now have the option to hide apps. Right? And you don't get any kind of confirmation window. And obviously, I guess it loads a little quicker with the new store, which is always good. So you tap it, it's gone. And you don't get any kind of confirmation window or anything. All right, so let's start downloading these a little bit, because once we do, we're going to see that we have new downloading indicators. And this just kind of gets thrown off there, but whatever. All right, let's... But the old downloader indicators were just terrible. They're just awful. You'll start seeing, like, 0.1 megabytes of 0.1 megabytes downloading. We've all seen that. So this is actually a lot better, right? And we also, if we load up our update history, which we're going to see here now as well. Okay, so that did take a little while to come up. And if we scroll down a bit, we see Pizza Eat Pizza. What the heck is that? Right? That was something I just noticed, because obviously now we finally have, we can see our recent updates. So let's tap on it, and we'll get to the store listing, and we'll see what it is. And I'll tell you what it is, actually. It's the Feedback Hub, which is just really interesting that that's what it's called in the store. So if we launch it, it's going to launch the Feedback Hub. So I don't know if they're just calling they're just calling the Feedback Hub Pizza Eat Pizza in the store, or if this is some other piece that when you launch it just happens to launch the Feedback Hub. I really don't know. But so now we go down here. These are our suggestions for categories, apps and games, Groove, because that's what you want when you talk about OneDrive, right? Groove. Well, I guess it could be, if you said my music isn't syncing through OneDrive, that would be Groove, right? So it makes sense. My photos aren't syncing, that might be Camera. Fair enough. So interestingly enough, there's only 5 known issues listed. Well, there was originally 4, but as has been very common lately, they've added a few. We are investigating data issues with some dual SIM devices where cellular data doesn't work correctly with the second SIM. Several issues relating to cellular data with dual SIM devices have been reported by insiders with the last 2 mobile builds, and we're investigating these reports. Feedback Hub is not localized, and the UI will be in English US only, with language packs installed. We have reduced the number of instances where boxes are seen when entering emoji. You may still see them in some text fields. We're working on it. The Settings app may crash when you are rearranging quick actions under Settings, System, Notification, and Actions. If it does, it could result in one of the quick action spots disappearing. If you see this happen, please refrain from changing your quick action settings on this build. If you have been impacted by this issue, only a hard reset will revert your quick action settings back to default. So let's give that a try. We'll see how bad it is. Remember, the known issues are always important with the new build, because it could be something that you care about. So let's just change these. Now, let me move it. So yeah, it didn't crash. Everything is fine. Good to know. So anyway, the final one, the one they added was after your device reboots from installing this update, if it gets stuck on the Windows logo, let it sit and be patient. It might appear frozen, but it's still working in the background. While you wait, it is recommended you plug your phone in and let it charge as well. For more details, see this forum post. So the forum post, what it says, and I wrote this up yesterday, if this happens to you, you should wait 30 to 40 minutes and then it'll proceed to migrating data. Now, by the way, I updated 5 different phones. And yes, for those that do follow me, this is a Lumia 1520. So, and this is a Lumia 650, 950, 930, and 830. I updated them all and I did not have this problem. But they said that for some people, waiting 30 to 40 minutes didn't work. So, if it doesn't work, hold down the power and volume down buttons until it reboots, which should be 11 seconds, which is what they said, and then it should work. So if it doesn't work, you should be able to plug your phone into a PC with the Windows Device Recovery tool. You should be able to roll it back to Windows Phone 8.1 or Windows 10 Mobile, whichever is the current firmware for your phone. And if you want, then you can go back to the fast ring, but it's a way to get your phone working again. All right. So there's a whole list of fixes. I'm not going to go through them all. We fixed an issue causing installation of mobile bills to fail with error 8007002. Language and speech pack should download without any errors. We fixed the issue causing DRM protected content like services from Groove Music, other stuff to fail playback. We fixed the issue where some users with some non-English keyboards were not able to enter letters such as W and Y. We fixed the issue causing your phone to lock up and reboot when it receives a notification from an app that has keep notifications private on the lock screen turned on. Look, you can find all these known issues on neowin.net. There's a promotion. Go to the homepage. There's a promotion right at the top. It says Windows 10 Mobile Build 14342. Click it, and then you'll see everything we've written about this build so far, and you'll find known and fixed issues. Okay, so moving on, there's even more to talk about. They removed Wi-Fi Sense. Okay, so this is something that we got in Windows 10 for PCs, build 14342, so it's not surprising. And really, remember, Windows 10 is really one OS across devices. So we got features on one, now we're seeing features on the other. They removed Wi-Fi Sense on one, they removed it on this. They say that not a lot of people used it. I believe it. I have Wi-Fi Sense set up for all my devices, and I have never used it even once. I mean, not even to test it when there was so much controversy over it. I mean, and the controversy was unfounded. I mean, it was ridiculous. Remember, we had all these headlines of, Wi-Fi Sense is going to give your Wi-Fi password to all your friends on your Facebook. And I was like, that's not true. That's not how it works. But it was clickbait headlines like that. And you got to think, if you're Microsoft and not a lot of people use this thing, and there's all this fear about it, why keep it around? So they got rid of it. And for people that aren't on the Insider program, all this stuff is coming to you in the anniversary update. By the way, speaking of the new store, the new store is for PCs and phones, but you can only get it on phones right now. The update is available in the store for PCs, but at the current time of recording this video, it's showing an error for anybody that tries to update. I've spoken with Microsoft about this, and they've told me that they're working on a fix for it, and they don't really know what's wrong, but it should be fixed soon because obviously they want to get this thing out to insiders. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm Rich Woods. Please don't forget to subscribe to NeoWin. Have a great night.